So I've had some time on here now with the dual boot version that ships from the factory. This is the Teclast X98 Pro, but the K9C6 version. The K9C3 version that came out first just had Windows on it, so this now has Android and the dual boot BIOS. You don't have to flash it yourself. Now I've run a couple of benchmarks on this tablet now that I know that a few of you are interested in, and I'll just show you the results of those benchmarks. So this is Antutu here. Got a score of 50,000, sorry. Not 5,000, 5,000 would be really bad. So 50,601 there. If you want to see those scores there in a little bit of detail. That is only 1,000 points less than my modded version that I modded and flashed over Android 2, the first one I had. So even without the copper mod, it still gets a good score there. Slingshot, 3D Mark Slingshot, Geekbench 3 here. Now this little overlay here you can see with temperature readouts, that's CPU temp. It's a widget there that I was just running, so I can keep an eye on the temperatures to see just how hot it's getting. And this is Epic Citadel benchmark that I ran. Another good result there. If you have a look at the temperature of that benchmark, got up to 45 degrees. Now I left that running and just sitting there in the background looping the demonstration over and over and over again, and it didn't go over 45 degrees. Now at that time I wasn't charging the tablet. If I had plugged it into the charger, I'm sure that would probably get up to 55 degrees, maybe a little warmer from the heat generated from the battery. But so far it's definitely a lot cooler than when it's running Windows. So those are just the benchmarks there that I've run on the tablet. Overall Android, there's no real problems apart from the battery life. Battery life is quite unimpressive. You're only looking around about 3 hours, 3.5 hours if you're gaming. Maybe even less. I mean, I look. I'll just show you my batteries. Actually, my battery stats here. Hopefully, you can see it. So you can see there that it got down. Where this huge drop here was when I was running that Epic Citadel benchmark, and it just really chewed through a good. You can see there maybe about 35% battery, and literally in about half an hour or less. So if you're gaming, or maybe you're only looking at about 2 hours, I really have to look into that. But I think the battery stats aren't correct. I think the percent that it's got there, it's not calibrating properly. I think it's only reporting one battery cell. So I'm just going to jump over into Windows now and show you the temperatures after stressing out the CPU and GPU a little bit there. So just move over here and go onto Windows. Here in Windows you can see that it still has the thermal throttling. Got up to 85 degrees there, and it did trigger thermal throttling, as you can see on core number 0. So the problem still exists. They haven't changed any of the hardware there. They haven't put a copper heatsink on there. And this is only happening getting up to these temperatures within Windows. Now at the moment I was running 3D Mark just before to get these temperatures. And it was also charging. I'm also charging the tablet at the same time. You can see down here, charging icon, it is charging. And the brightness was actually on 100% when I was running that. I've just dropped it down before because I was recording some videos, so the camera sensor wasn't being overpowered there. So a big problem there. Just a little note as well that there is stability problems here with the tablet. When I plugged in a USB drive into the OTG port, into the USB 2 port there, it crashed the whole system. The screen just went off, complete blank. Tried to power it on, wouldn't power on. I tried and tried, left it for a while, plugged in the charger just for about 10 minutes or so, finally powered on. So there's a problem going on there, and we're trying to get a fix there. There is one of the users on the Tech Tablets forum searching for a problem there. It's something to do with the power settings, so we need to go into the power configuration and just tweak a few settings there. That's to help to remove the problem. It's a temporary fix, but it seems to be when you get below 50% power, it's crashing. Not good to see. Now I didn't see this on the single OS version, which is the first model that just came with Windows 10 on it without Android. Didn't have that problem. And again, this problem isn't actually happening in Android. Android seems to be fine and stable. It just seems to chew through the battery a little bit. But I think there's something wrong with the battery calibration. The battery meter is not being reported correctly. It's only reporting one battery cell is what I think is going on. So Teclast need an update there. So the tablet is far from perfect at the moment. It does need a few updates, I think, and we'll probably see that in the up and coming months when Teclast finally get things sorted out And normally this happens on the first batch. Normally the first batch has a few little problems and things, but there's something definitely going on. So in the advanced settings here, there are a few tweaks that you can apply if you do have this model, and there's a link in the description of that if you're interested on the forum with a temporary fix on that one. Thanks for watching the video there. So as you can see, it's got a few little things that need to be sorted, but hopefully we can get that sorted, and I'll keep an eye on that. And we'll have more up and coming Cherry Trail tablets as well, so if you're interested, keep an eye on the channel. Thanks for watching. See you later.